today, we're going to be talking about just a little bit more in detail why I feel like that win that we just had against the Toronto Raptors means a little bit more to the Chicago Bulls towards our season. Now, at the end of the day, every win is important, of course, and we have 6 of them on our year. We have a 6-6 record, so we have a lot of, leeway now in terms of the games that we played, the Bulls experiences that we've already seen, and what we can do to improve them. And I think everybody kind of has an idea now. We can make our own suggestions, our own opinions, our own thought processes, and even some, moves that could potentially happen for the Chicago Bulls to make us just a little bit better. But all things considered, with this current team that we have right now, I feel like this win against the Toronto Raptors might have just been the best of our season, and I want to discuss why in this video. I've mentioned it a little bit in the game reaction against Toronto, and I'm going to mention a little bit more of it in this video. Before we get started, please like and subscribe to the Bulls Show. Turn notifications on, and let me know in the comments below your thoughts about, how important you think the win was for the Chicago Bulls against that Raptors side. Because all things considered, many people might just look at this game, for example, if you're just a neutral fan, you're looking at all the results, or maybe even if you've watched this game, you're just saying a typical competitive Eastern Conference battle that's very physical, very tough. And again, the East is kind of a different breed than the West. The West is probably more skill-based, at least from my perspective, a lot more skill, a lot more, diversity in their lineups. And the East has always been the physical league or the physical conference. It's very tough over here. And stuff like that. There is a little bit of a different dynamic between the East and the West. Maybe for some people that don't see that, me personally, that's how I view the NBA. That's how I view the Eastern and the Western Conference. So if I was a neutral and I was looking at this Bulls game, I'd be thinking competitive game, unique way the Toronto Raptors played, ultimately just a good, solid game to watch the basketball. Very, very competitive. And I'd be happy with that. Most neutral fans, if they watch this Bulls and Raptors game, would probably be happy with, the level of competition that they got in that game. But from a Bulls fan, I feel like this win is probably the most important. And here's the reason why. Toronto came out with something that no other team has done before. We've had 6 losses, 6 wins, and in every single one of those games, I think only once have I seen, the way a trap and a double team, the way the Toronto Raptors did it. But the difference between the double teams and the traps that we've seen from DeMar with other teams compared to the Raptors is that the Raptors did it the whole game. It wasn't in spades of the game. It wasn't in maybe 5 to 7 minutes of a game. It wasn't in a half of a game. It wasn't in any of those situations. They trapped, they double teamed DeMar DeRozan the entire game. That is something that no other team has done before when they faced the Chicago Bulls. And we saw it work. In the game against Toronto, that game worked. That game plan worked. The offense that DeMar DeRozan was able to execute was limited. His entire game was limited. And we had to do different things to try and win the game. We got close, but we couldn't get the job done. Now, this win in Chicago against the Toronto Raptors is definitely a unique one because they did the same thing, but obviously now when you add Zach LaVine into that lineup, the game plan was the same for Toronto and our game plan shifted. We had another good quality shot, shot maker in Zach LaVine. He was able to shoot his threes. He was able to get to the basket. He had an unbelievably strong game with 30 points. And if we see the best out of Zach LaVine, that can continue to be the case no matter who we verse that decides to do this. And again, Nikola Vucevic had a strong game. Toronto, I think their thinnest area is the center position, and I will stand by that. And until, obviously, they have more games under their belt, maybe when Pascal Siakam comes back as well, because he normally plays as that backup center for the Toronto Raptors. If he comes back, then that center position might be a little bit more stronger in terms of the depth and the quality that they have. And then all of a sudden, maybe Nikola Vucevic has off games, but Vucevic played 2 solid games against the Toronto Raptors, especially in the game against Chicago. He made an impact. Our bench and our movement really made the impact as well. And the reason why I feel like this is so important is because if we lost that game in Chicago, what do you think the Pelicans are going to do in the game that we face them? What do you think teams like Boston would do when we face them? What do you think other teams will do when we face them to DeMar DeRozan if we couldn't get a win like this with most of our all-star level players healthy and ready to go? If we failed in this game, if we lost this game convincingly, or we lost this game in a close competitive battle, the Pelicans are going to come in do the exact same thing. Then they're going to rely on Zach LaVine, Vucevic, Ayo, Patrick, all the other guys to beat them. And they know from experience that that will not always work and the Bulls could still lose games. So winning this game could potentially prevent that from the Pelicans, could potentially prevent that from the Boston Celtics and any other team that we verse in the future. That game right there that the Raptors, I guess, had, that we won, we could have easily prevented a whole bunch of games where teams are doing the exact same thing. And I guess another example I could bring to you guys was the Golden State Warriors. I think there was a game in which the game before that, they did something unique. I can't remember what it is now, but again, feel free to let me know in the comments below if you remember. And then we versed the Warriors, and the Warriors did the exact same thing. They copied and pasted that exact same game plan to beat the Chicago Bulls. And in an interview, I think it was Steve Kerr, when asked about how they're approaching this game plan, what they're doing and everything like that, he just basically said it's a copycat league. And then off he went back into the tunnel for the halftime break and everything like that, talking to their players. And again, I can't remember the exact game plan. I can't remember exactly what they did. It's a very long time ago. If you remember, please let me know in the comments below so I can make this example maybe a little bit more solidified. But that's in exactly the same case that could have been prevented now by the Chicago Bulls winning this game, where other teams would copy what the Raptors did and implemented it in their own game, and then they would have their own formula to beat the Chicago Bulls. That's also going to be very similar in the NBA playoffs as well. You see how one team performs against you in the NBA playoffs, other teams will copy it if you advance. These things are easily preventable. So I'd like to see what the Pelicans, because that's the game we have next, ladies and gentlemen. I would love to see how the Pelicans approach, I guess, their defensive scheme against DeMar DeRozan and this Chicago Bulls team. Do they copy what the Toronto Raptors did? Do they just double team DeMar DeRozan and expect Zach LaVine or Vucevic to be the team that beats you? Very similar to the New York Knicks as well. New York was a team that when we versed them last year, they made sure it wasn't DeMar DeRozan that beat them. They made sure that Zach LaVine wasn't able to beat them. They made other guys beat them, and that proved to be fairly, not entirely, but fairly successful for them. And now we've seen with the Toronto Raptors that DeMar DeRozan will not be beating the Toronto Raptors. It's going to have to go down to everybody else. So how will other teams respond to that? How will the Pelicans approach this game? If they do single coverages on DeMar DeRozan, no double teams, no traps, nothing like that for 48 minutes, DeMar gets his shots, he scores his points, and we move on from this situation without really remembering it until the next time we verse Toronto, then that's going to be positive. But if we see Pelicans double team, we see Boston now double team, because Boston, he dropped 46 on them. If that's how to stop DeMar DeRozan, you don't think Boston are going to come in and try to copy what Toronto did and maybe try to do it a little bit better? That could be a thing where we could see that from the Boston Celtics, and we can see that from a bunch of other teams in the future. So I'm happy we won the game. It's very important that we won this game, and it's also very important that we didn't lose this game. And for those reasons, maybe the situation of this double team from 48 minutes could easily be preventable. And then we can obviously see more success from the Chicago Bulls as well. So altogether, that's why I think this win is important. Does that make sense? Do you think I'm wrong? Let me know in the comments below what you think. But I'm going to end this video here now, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe if you're new. Maybe I'm just crazy. This is off the top of my head. This is what I felt when I was watching this Bulls at Raptors game when we were 20 points up and I really felt like we were going to win the game. I thought to myself, man, this is an important win. Not because it's the Toronto Raptors. Toronto are a very competitive team, but they're not the best that we've faced thus far. But because they brought something so new to the table that we haven't seen in a long time, if ever, with DeMar DeRozan on this team. And we still managed to overcome it, and we could potentially have made sure that other teams don't follow what Toronto did. So maybe it's also something to worry about when DeMar DeRozan is the only guy playing. If Zach LaVine has knee management issues in the future, we got to be careful about this as well. So it's not completely gone and forgotten about. Other teams will bring it when Zach LaVine's not playing. But when Zach LaVine is playing, when Vucevic is playing at a high level, that game plan is going to be much difficult to, I guess, it's going to be very difficult to achieve and to walk away with a win from. And that makes me very happy. So have a wonderful and safe day, Bulls Nation. Hopefully you understood the video. Or again, if you don't, let me know in the comments below what you disagree with. And I'll see you in the next one. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay tuned for more. Take care and peace.